Welcome back to the Crypto Bliss community, you beautiful souls, and thank you for being here once again on the channel today, Etan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Love being back here. Round two, right?
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this video is the round two from the Bitcoin astrology video that we did for you. You will see that video pinned in the cards above on this video. Now, we don't want to waste another single second because we have so much to share with you, especially Etan, all about the Bitcoin halvings, how astrology will continue to affect Bitcoin, and how perfectly balanced and aligned Bitcoin is as the people's money. So, welcome back to the Crypto Bliss community. Thank you for being here. Etan, please go ahead for part two of this video. Delve right in.
Thank you, Mr. Crypto Bliss, and the community at large. I appreciate you taking the time and energy here. So, in part one, I definitely described that astrology is very intimate. It has many different layers. There's complexities to it that might not be grasped in one session. Do your own research, do your own searching about the stars, especially in part one where we made some recommendations on how to do that easily enough. So this round definitely, as Mr. Crypto Bliss is saying, going to be focusing a lot more on the transition of where we are now into where we're going. But before we do that, just want to see the last halving, which was 11th of May 2020. And 2020 for everybody was just a glorious conglomerate of goo. So much happened that doesn't even make sense. And that's exactly why. So, yeah, I'm going to share my screen now and just again, just in previous interview together, we were talking about Bitcoin's chart, which is the inner wheel, and then the current stars, which is this date here, 2020. Okay, this outer track is representing so all the stars. So you could go to any date and the stars will be different, but always these will stay the same. Okay, it's always going to be fixed there. These move. So just elaborating that whole process. In our first session, we were talking about basically the new moon and the full moon cycle and how that plays relevance to any of these orbs. So Venus to Mars as a new moon to full moon. So the two of them have a new moon and full moon action. Okay. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because particularly Saturn and Jupiter. So remember the legend decides, just see which they are. Saturn and Jupiter, they were coming into a conjunction. And this conjunction has been, wow, it's been a long awaited for by many astrologers. And it's because it's conjunct at 0 degrees Aquarius, which hasn't happened for thousands of years. Okay, in the sense that what it also did was activate the air sign energy. So, in other words, Jupiter and Saturn, they come to a conjunction with one another, and they're going to be conjuncting only in air signs from here on out for the next 400 plus years, which kind of marks the energy of air, which is represented as mind, mental, and that's governmental. Okay, government is a very grounding structure. It's structured like Capricorn, whereas air operates in a different mentality. Okay, so when they say they want to govern space or what have you, that's kind of technically what they mean. The space of these airwaves, Wi-Fi, and all the rest, technology is very much an air sign. Communication and commerce and trade and all these things relate to air, just in different energies with the triplicity, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So cardinal, fixed, immutable in their energy. Go back to our first video. So I love the energy there, and you can see Jupiter's at 27, and then Saturn's at 1. And you can see these are both retro, well, Saturn's retrograding there, but they have this like dance of like back and forth retrograding. They're always progressing, but back and forth. So that conjunction's timed perfectly. And by December, because we're only in May here, by December they conjunct, incredibly so. And a massive transition takes place with humanity. The reset happens, the shutdowns, lockdowns, all of that stuff happens. Even Mr. Crypto Bliss and I had our own experiences of parting ways, making big changes in our lives that really is preparing humanity for greater things to come, because Aquarius is about the community. And if we talk about the greater community at large, that's very important. So when a conjunction happens there, it's signaling a new age of something. That's basically rounding it all back up. Okay, so what is that signaling is a very curious question. And the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is basically the rhythms of breathing in and breathing out, exhaling. So exhaling is Saturnian, breathing in is Jupiterian. So we've got this influx and this reset of energy that's happening. And when they come, they mark political circumstances, they mark dynasties and the ruling states or government included in that. But of course, Jupiter represents wealth, which means that businessmen, private entities, banks, corporate, all of those things relate to wealth in general. But banks as a whole, okay, it's more Capricorn and Saturnian in its energy, but it still marks cash flow, okay? So all of that is symbolic in our development therein. We're always developing. Okay, so that's why we're spending time talking about this, Mr. Crypto Bliss and community, because it's very important that we know that the crypto cycle has its 4-year patterns, and that after, like on the day of the halving, it's not like it spikes up and what have you. Yes, there's market movement after a certain period of time. Okay, but we all know that there's a period of about 120 days or what have you where the market really starts to move therein. And we're right now on this date, 13th of February 2025, where all of the markets in the crypto space are signaling an upswing. So we've just had our halving last year. Okay, so to give you perspective, looking back, astrology, you can utilize looking back as a tool to foretell what is to come. Okay, and that's the gift of it in so many other ways. So just keep all of that in mind and carry on munching your chips over there, because we got a lot more to chat about, Mr. Crypto Bliss.
Tell us,
Community.
Starglazer. So, obviously you're bringing up the halving in 24. You'll be talking about that shortly, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Okay, wonderful. So, in this chart, what is pushing Bitcoin up every single time, every single halving?
Well, pushing it up is it's adoption rate. You see, when it comes to adoption rate of anything, Synergy Organics, our brand, we do organic nutrition. The adoption rate of people accepting a different kind of way of eating, living, lifestyle. You see, so it's the ratio at which somebody adopts it. And now, where are we today? Not on this chart. This chart over here, we were before 5 years ago. Okay. Where are we today? So that adoption rate is very evident. But you see,
what in the chart shows us that adoption?
Okay, the progression. So that's exactly it. When a baby's born, it doesn't know how to use its limbs. Then it progresses. Then it eventually starts to utilize its limbs. Then it's brain, then it's heart, then before you know it, the baby's at school. Before you know it, it's an entrepreneur making its own business or whatever. So it's all about progression, okay? And you start to get to see that in the chart. So what's meant by Mr. Crypto Bliss's question is, okay, what are the signs that there's an upside in crypto and its adoption rate and what have you? And it's all about expansion. and I spent time talking about the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction and how it expands because air is gas, right? And gas expands. That's what we're in. So there's this mass adoption taking place, and because Satoshi locked in 21 million, and by 2140 will be the last Satoshi's mined and what have you. So what will happen thereafter? So you see, up until that point, there's going to be mass adoption. But after that point, because of the scarcity of the asset, it's going to exponentially increase thereafter, just in my views. Okay, so in other words, you can't have a giant tree on a tiny little toothpick trunk. You know, nature doesn't work that way. So adoption, building, development, it's all encompassment in this energy. So the orbs really talk to different aspects of the energy of the chart, and then the houses, which are in between the lines, okay, they represent the aspects of that chart's house. So like home, career, relationships, health. So what's the health of the business or the Bitcoin charts? Those things tend to express themselves. So just as the example here, Jupiter is in the 6th house. It expands your health. You are blessed with wealth, is what the health is what that's saying. So a healthy crypto market, because it's a financial instrument, correct? Okay, and then Mercury in the 2nd degree of Aquarius is also still in the 6th house, which it likes to be in as a Virgo house. It likes to be in the 6th house. So it's further emphasizing that gut-mind connection in medical astrology, but the gut being the intuition and the mind being the logical to move forward in unison. That's really what's that symbolic of, just those two over there. Then you also have the sun there. The sun is gold, or Om. That Om is aura. Your aura is golden, and the sun represents that in a chart. So it's blessed with its analytical properties, because it's also how the house of analyzing, but it's also in that regard healthy because it's got a lot of gold in it, so to speak. Healthy and wealthy, right? They go together.
So people classify Bitcoin as the digital gold. So would this be that expression of the digital most
Yes.
limited resource, limited asset on this planet ever in existence?
100%. And we just covered quite a lot of in-depth psychological aspects to the chart. Look here, you've got a lot of energy in Aquarius, which again, it's telling you its purpose, its drive, its energy, where it's going to pay attention in its chart. Like me as a Capricorn, I'm focusing on building businesses and developing structure, etc. But as an astrologer, it's quite a bit different to observe it. So here what's happened is, and in the first chart, Venus just moved into Pisces. It was in Aquarius, okay, at the time of Bitcoin's birth. We covered that again. Yeah. But that's called a cluster. There's a lot of energy playing out in there. And it all represents relationship, because this is a relationship house here. And Chiron, the wounded healer, being in Aquarius in the relationship house, is kind of saying, listen, I'm here to learn from the past lessons and use my pain to progress you and society, the wounded healer. So as the example, my mother died from breast cancer, so I want to find a cure for breast cancer as a doctor. That's my profession, and you end up finding that cure. And yeah, We won't go there with the rest of the story because we know what's happened in the past. But yeah, just in that regard, you're finding that purpose. So with Bitcoin, Chiron, Wounded Healer, finding purpose in healing humanity, as we said, healing truth, because the financial instruments that currently exist are far from truthful. We can talk about straw men, can we not? The straw man is your doppelganger, your paper version of you. Okay. And that is one deep hole that you could go into by yourself. Ask in the comments below if you need some guidance, please. But in that regard, it's kept in secrecy. You don't know about this doppelganger, this straw man, this experience. And this is the thing about Chiron, the Wounded Healer, being in the house or the sign of truth, in the house of the relationship, which is other. It's like Crypto Bliss and Starglazer are interacting right now. I'm Starglazer as the first house interacting with Crypto Bliss, the seventh house, and the community, of course, at large. So you see how this energy is always interacting. It's, you can't stop it. It's always there, and your subconscious and unconscious are always picking up on these cues. Whether you like to believe it or not, the full moon does affect you. We see more violence, more accidents, more craziness, etc., etc. The proof is in the Melba pudding, the moon pudding. So yeah, just that's a key point there, especially with the North Node being in Aquarius right at this point here, because that says a lot about I'm focusing my attention on sun setting, because this is where the sun sets, setting the old in order to bring the new. Woo! That's powerful. That was channeled energy right there. So just in that regard, I want to be mindful of time and what have you, because the detail can go on forever. So save for time.
Yeah, for sure. While you get that chart there, Starglazer, to the community, we're definitely going to do loads and loads more of these astrological videos. So if you want to watch these videos, then make sure you subscribe to the Crypto Bliss community, subscribe to Starglazer. I'll leave his details down in the description of the video below. You can check it out, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can know when we do these videos for you, because there's a lot more to come. This is just the tip of the iceberg, like Starglazer was saying. Where we're at now.
That's the tip. Well, before we get there, I just want to disclaim as well that the Starglazer channel, grateful for that link up. I have not been active on it. I've been very active in the physical field of astrology, the practical side of it. And because I do a lot of medical astrology, it's incredible to actually be in that space because we're in that industry. So, of course, paying attention to that. And the chart says it. So if you want to get a reading, definitely you can contact us, and yeah, that will be good. So just from all of this energy here, wow, we talk about above the horizon, we talk about below the horizon, we talk about left and we talk about right. But my word, there's a cluster happening in this house over here. That's the first thing everyone's eyes, I'm sure, went to. What's going on? Okay, well, firstly, the ninth house represents IC, not the IC. It represents the IC as a mental future. I have, as an architect, the vision to see the plan, draw it on paper, and get somebody else to action the implementing of building it, because I'm an architect. I don't build as well. You see, difference. So when it comes to the visionary part of it, that energy comes with a certain sense of wisdom, the ability of foresight, the ability to also gain as much knowledge as you can, because you need to get to where you are seeing in your mind. And if you want to be a wealthy, successful entrepreneur, you have to do what they do. And that doesn't take just waking up when you want and doing what you want when you want. It takes a lot of diligence and dedication. And that's exactly why from the ninth house, it moves into the 10th house, which is Capricorn. The diligence, dedication, willpower, well, fifth house willpower, but you see where we're going with this. So, okay, we delve a little bit deeper here. This was April last year. Really incredible time. It was so exciting, days before. Oh, what's happening? Oh, America political. Oh, all this stuff. Oh, war. The war only pushes Bitcoin up, which is another question of yours, Crypto Bliss. Is like, why is it growing? It's because war. It's because we're printing more money. It's because of inflation. Okay, inflation is, yeah, the devil's tool. Frick's sakes. Those things play a part in what it is that um, is making Bitcoin grow. So now what's happening is there's a lot of planning with the cluster. So you can imagine a boardroom meeting of stars of, that energy expressing a plan to vision. So 2024, we saw a lot of adoption of ETFs. Am I correct in saying that? Those were the first adoptions of that coming into play. And what are ETFs? They 5 to 7 years of maturation. Where do we land up there? Oh, 2030. Ooh, 2028 halving is going to be a delicious conversation now. But you see the energy of what I'm saying about a lot of planning happening, a lot of ETFs, a lot more banks, and a lot of more people are starting to adopt, which is the physical part. It's like I see and then I have to apply too. So we covered what the orbs mean, but just briefly here, North Node is direction. So the focus over that 18-month period is very focused on the vision, okay? Mercury, communicating that vision, which is, hey, we're announcing, okay, media, Mercury media, announcing the fact that we're doing ETFs and this big vision. Yeah, that's wonderful. Then Venus is there too in Aries, and it's giving the gift of that vision. So we haven't even covered the energies in Aries and what that actually means, but it's the start. Just plain and simple, it's the start of a new vision. So the ETFs are coming into that play long term. So anybody that's a naysayer towards the crypto decentralized space, oh my gosh, you way behind, dude. You need to shave your beard, catch up with life, and just yeah. Yeah, clean your ears out. So because it's a long-term vision that's coming forward. And then remember
Sure.
what I said about gold? Ooh, gold in the vision sign. So all of this planning that's happening, it's about to enter Taurus, which is the financial axis, Taurus Scorpio. So Chiron being there, and Chiron's been in Aries for quite some time now. Chiron's about, wounded healer of the I am. In Aries, it's talking about self. So what's happening is that there's a lot of self-healing through the vision that is being implemented. Okay, just in that regard. That is incredible, just to say that. But I'm going to end off in this house, the eighth house. The eighth house has a lot to do with our desires. So the constriction of our desires. So the formation of our desires too, because Saturn's also that, like boundary setter, but also the foundation setter, structural input. But in terms of the desire, there's a lot of action happening in the desire house and the desire to move this vision forward. Yeah, it's plain and simple. Mars will last.
The desire to do more crypto astrology videos.
Yeah, that, and also, the desire to hold Bitcoin more and more. So it was heated, the desire to accumulate more because Scorpio is the dam, and the
Hodl.
dam accumulates water. Yeah, exactly. And then you have Neptune, the dreamer, like the dreamer. So I'm dreaming this desire into reality, which further emphasizes all of this cluster here in the ninth house. But yeah, everything else, just moving forward. I mean, Pluto's here at the moment. It's going to be conjuncting with the North Node. So actually, when that happens, 1 minute left on this, when that happens, that is going to be absolutely incredible in transforming the path forward, the vision forward. It's going to rip out old things, and it's going to force the financial industry, but also the capital markets, also a whole lot of industries into transforming. So this is coming. This is coming very soon. So by the next half, we'll get it on the next video. Okay.
So we'll do the next session on the, yeah, I'll quickly send another link. And then just we'll do another little video. But I want to ask you before you move on to the next halving about a specific date this year and
Yeah,
the action at that time. That's kind of like a little
cool,
thing there. Okay, cool.
cool.
I'll send the next link.
Okay, I'm on yeah, Telegram's cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just the transformation of the North Node is there's going to be a lot of action happening, and again in technology, a lot of disruptions there. In technology, a lot of disclosure as well, which is what's been promised to us for so long. But since we're in the age of truth and we have all this technology and this internet, we can't help but contain the truth any longer. So it's exploding, the transformation. So that's exactly what happens with technology, is that it becomes so big, it's easily replicable eventually. So why not make it free and abundant? Nikola Tesla style. Maybe not so much the other one, but
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
So, Starglazer, before you hop on to the next halving date, I would like for you to perhaps have a look at a date. I believe we could potentially see the cycle top for this year. I could be completely wrong, but it's my prediction based on the past experiences. But I have a feeling, one, I'm going to be wrong because this bull cycle is probably going to continue for a little bit longer than what we're expecting because of the delays and the kind of sideways momentum we're sitting in at this point. But because of the slow unfolding of everything, it's a build up, like Etan's been saying, like Starglaze has been saying. It's just a build up over a build up over a build up. So I'd like you to please look at the 25th of October, so 25th, 25, 10, 25. And let's have a look at what the charts are saying at that moment. Just a brief look.
Well, since you asked the question, what do you see and where do you see it?
Wow. Okay, let's see where we're at. We've got the moon in Sagittarius. And we got Mars
Yeah.
and Mercury right in Scorpio. That's highly charged energy. And that's got 25s there also. So 25 degrees. So that's very interesting in 2025. Then what I'm seeing here is we have Jupiter in is that Cancer? Yeah, in Cancer.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't see the sign there. So Jupiter in Cancer, which is the home, which means that our homes are going to be absolutely filled with treasures at this moment in time. And the expansion of our homes, we shall have greatly improved home on this planet. Thank you very much. And then
Love.
lastly, I guess I see Neptune kind of going between Pisces and Aries there, and Neptune as the ruler of Pisces with Saturn is very interesting at that moment. And Saturn, I don't know, because of the underworld, I wouldn't quite say it's quite like the underworld, but maybe the Atlanteans and under the sea world, something like that.
Wow, powerful, powerful. Yeah, firstly, the sea, the ocean has a lot to do with currency, right? The moon has its tides. There's always moving water. Water's always moving. So, but interesting. You bounced around there. So I'm gonna follow your suit, and then we'll get to that because that's a nice measure there. So yeah, Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. So there definitely is a sense of financial acceleration there. That desire is also hot, and that time is going to be very nice for us towards the end of the year. Okay, at the moment Mars is sitting here with kind of where Jupiter is. Okay, it's at 17 degrees, so it has to race all the way down here by that time, and it's got work to do in that time because that's what Mars is, action. So again, yeah, playing out in the fourth house here. Fourth house has a lot to do with home, and Scorpio being in the fourth house, the home, along with Taurus in a Capricorn's house. Okay, the 10th house of career and where you get your money, because that's what career is, right? That's interesting. That's another dynamic we pointed out in the first session. that the financial axis is in the home and the career house of Bitcoin's chart. It's amazing how that's set there. So these kinds of charts, they do represent the integrity. It depends on the angles or what have you. So now with Mars being there, it's just hyper activating that home energy. Now, it reflects to Jupiter being in Cancer because this is the Cancer house. And you're correct in saying that Jupiter in Cancer is expanding the wealth in the house because Jupiter exalts in Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. So the exaltation of Jupiter means it's even further emphasized. So when Jupiter, because it's actually last week it stationed direct, okay, it's heading for Cancer. And by June, it's going to be in Cancer and it's going to trigger this abundance. And you're going to see the market start to move in this representation therein. So, yes, Jupiter is going to fly through Cancer and it's going to retrograde and it's going to pull back and a lot of things are going to happen. You see 11 at 11 here. So, we're actually a couple of days away in this chart from it going retrograde again at 25 degrees. It's at 24 degrees. Okay, so that just means that it's reestablishing, relearning. There's a sense of potency. Okay, we're comfortable with this project's working with us, but we have to adjust. These kinds of things are retrogrades. It's reestablishing, relearning, re-observing. It's important to note, oh, I must not stop everything because the Mercury is retrograde. No, it's retrograde 3 times a year for like a couple of weeks at a time. So like, are you going to stop your life every year for a couple of weeks at a time? Who can afford that right now? So you see, it's more about knowing the energy and utilizing it to your advantage. So isn't that what Bitcoiners or any financial instrument trader, they go look at the new moon and the full moon? Am I correct in saying, Crypto Bliss, you've done that? You've said, here's the moon cycles. Here's where it pumps when it's on the full moon. Oh, the new moon, okay, it's crunched. We were talking about the 4-year cycle of Saturn and Jupiter. So you see, look, Jupiter's here, okay, and Saturn's there. They're both in a water sign, which is currency, right? Moony, the money, moony money, currency, flow, energy, economy. Okay, so like that plays a big significant part. And you can actually see that 24 degrees and 26 degrees is a trine. And when trines come into aspect, they're very harmonic. So this is another good sign that Bitcoin is going to have an even bigger burst in its financial space, but also completions, the belief. I think this Jupiter being in Cancer, but in Bitcoin's 12th house of belief, which is Pisces, okay, 12th house of belief, it's expanding the belief. What is that saying? ETFs are being adopted. Everybody is expanding their belief on Bitcoin and crypto, all of this stuff, how crazy, how beautiful, and how divinely synced. And for those that can read it in this way, that's awesome. But guess just channeling here right now because it's true. Water represents flow. Water represents cleansing as well. And when we cleanse things, correct, yeah. So when we cleanse things, we get rid of the old so that we feel refreshed for the new, right? A new day, a new sunrise, new clothes. It's incredible. So when Jupiter reaches here, it's going to complete the cycle in one way. Okay, so it's entering the first house again, in other words. So that will be different then. Okay, and then you were elaborating. Well, it's something just here. Uranus just moved into Gemini, but it's retrograde there. That's activated a whole lot of technological advancements. So, I heard a podcast today talking about how these microchips and these mega chips that are coming out are really creating some incredible technology. But combined with AI and that, wow, it's just going to be creating even more technological advancements. So Uranus, the planet of unexpected shakeups and everything, like disturb your usual rhythm, okay? Because it's Aquarius in nature. It's all about setting the truth. And nobody likes hearing the truth because it burns in the moment. So you have to rip the Band-Aid off, and then accept the fact that you got to do the natural healing, which is it's a metaphor for the financial market. So that's a big deal in the 10th house, in the career house, because what Bitcoin's doing is it is disrupting the industry. And it's going from a 1% market cap of the total industry, a total economy, to a 7%. By 2035 is even what sailors, predicting. I mean, 7% gold, holds the largest with real estate, real estate, and then a few others before gold, but, $17 trillion market cap. It's easily
Massive.
accomplishable. It's
Exactly.
easily accomplishable, exactly, and expect the unexpected is what this planet actually. That's the planet. If it had a saying, "Oh, expect the unexpected," it's like you don't know what to expect or where to expect a lightning strike. You just know that you're standing in the storm. So expect to be struck if you've got an umbrella or a lightning rod. It's obvious. Okay, so and now where you were talking here, this is really incredible because, like I said to you earlier, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction hasn't happened for millennia. Now, Neptune and Saturn is another cycle. And you can see that Saturn's creeping up to Neptune because Saturn moves faster than Neptune. And when it does, they're going to conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries, which is the start of the whole astrological chart. That in itself is massive. It says so much. Okay. This has you can't find this conjunction the way that it is. Okay. You can't look back at a time where the two conjuncted 0 degrees. I'm talking more than 8,000 years ago. Okay, I haven't personally done it, but astrologers have said it. They've done it, and these are people that are professionals that have this as their lifestyle. So I'll do it and speak for myself, but I have the confidence to know that it hasn't because that's how astrology works. Every day is a gift, in other words. Okay, so when this conjunction happens, well, in the eighth house of Bitcoin, what it's doing is it's creating the disillusionment of the structure. That's what's happening. It creates the disillusionment of the structure, and it happens immediately and it happens quickly because 0 degrees of Aquarius is 0 degrees of Aries with the beginning of the chart is that it's called the world axis and the 4 points. So Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Those 4 points, if something happens on there, okay, it's like an immediate action. So when a planet moves into a new star sign, immediate action. That's why it's so intense coming into a new star sign. So you see 0 degrees Aquarius, Gemini that Uranus is playing in. So all of these mixes of what's being said, like what to expect. So I think that's a good question. Like where to from here, And
Yeah.
Crypto
Show
Bliss,
us.
that's a yeah, I mean that's a great question that you go, okay, this is my target, like of perhaps reaching the peak. And you intuitively are gone, whoa, okay, Jupiter's gonna retrograde on the 11th of the 11th. Everyone mark their calendars for that day because assured you that there will be some retrograde market pullback, in other words, in that sense. So I'm not a prophet. I'm not saying that it will happen, but let's get there. And then let's look back on this video and go, oh my gosh, okay, we can actually justify the fact that this is speaking worlds full of truth and that we can build on our information and knowledge from here on the Crypto Bliss channel
It
because
will.
I'll be very happy to do that.
It would be so interesting to see where, looking back once we've passed the state, where we would or what would have happened looking back at this video and looking at these specific dates, the 11/11
Yeah.
and the 25th 5/10. It would be just absolutely incredible to see those moments. And that, friends of the channel and the community, is exactly what you need to do. That's why you need an astrologer. Make sure you contact Starglazer down in the details below. in the description of this video. And that is critically important to know exactly the time you believe you've done your own research that may end up being something, and looking at it with your most personalized astrologer when they help guide you on specific dates, etc., that you look at. So, Etan, talk to us about the 2028 halving coming up and what could potentially be in surprise for Bitcoin at that point.
Okay, amazing. So there we go, 2028, and I just chose the solstice day because it's a beautiful day. Okay, absolutely amazing. So you can see the sun is at 0 degrees Cancer, and it will always do that on the 21st, thereabout, there, the 21st. That's why they call them the solstice days. So again, we talk about the rhythm of Bitcoin and its halving period and thereafter. And what happens is there's a period of waiting in the market so we're in such an incredible time in crypto. And I must say that target of November 2025, I think it's going to just shoot past that. It's just going to carry on bull running. Like the bull bashed out of its pen and it's now on a free run. And it's not looking back to go, shit, they're chasing me. It's just going boom, 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 boom. And look at the grin on your face, because I think that there's going to be a reassessment of this 4-year cycle and how it behaves from here on out because of such massive adoption. So yes, there's still the same patterns, but we've just got to observe it, when it gets there. And yeah, again, you can see a cluster happening here. Okay, and all of this is pulling into Aquarius, the 11th house, but it's in Gemini. Okay, you see Gemini, the symbol there. So it's it. All of these orbs are in the symbol Gemini, the star sign Gemini, but in Bitcoin's chart, it's in its 11th house. So just elaborating that, there's a difference. Okay. So, the sun and moon, they don't last too long. And I mean, these aren't too long a lasting planets except for Uranus. Okay. But all in all, over this period of time, what it is reaffirming at 2028 that the halving is accepting more of humanity, more of the community-based effort. There's a cluster happening in the 11th house, and it's saying, like, I'm shedding a lot of light on the community efforts, your trust, your community, your friendships, all of those things that are related to Aquarius, the truth, etc. So there's even more of a shed of light that's happening there, 2028. Can you imagine what's to be disclosed then? So disclosure, soft or hard, like who gets to decide soft or hard disclosure in that regard? Like, okay, we have a shitty financial system that's lasted thousands of years, that's enslaved humanity, and we're here today. Let's rip the freaking Band-Aid off, get rid of the old and bring the new. Like that's like, okay, shit, you shake the world up. But, like you can expect and you can hear it in the Trump administration, U.S. politics, blah, blah. But a lot of things are coming from China. There's a lot of technology all over the world. So don't only think of America because they got their fat bums in the media all the time, dominating that space because they are that way. The rest of the world is adopting this. The rest of the world is actually ahead of the US in terms of its adoption in some countries. They're already utilizing local spaces. So this is what I mean. Because now the media, the big US is going, hey, Bitcoin's here. Like, cool, that gives mass adoption now. And everybody trusts it more because everyone's talking about it, right? Energy, like, you can see that AI is coming in. Like, there's a lot of people on the board, Trump's administration, there's a lot of tech billionaires, etc. So what happens 4 years from now is that there's a more established AI market. There's a more established financial market and financial instrument market, which produces the outcome that it's more community based. So, like, let's not be ignorant and say, oh, these people are here to free us and like, here, yay, we get free energy. No. They still want to get paid at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. But free energy technology will free this world. Okay, and that will then start to rip Bitcoin back down in price. The day you see free energy technology be adopted all across the world, you're not going to really need things like this because Bitcoin, yes, it has many utilities, but one of its utilities is like leveraging against corruption. So when free energy comes into place, there'll be less of a need for corruption because a lot of people's basic needs are being met and beyond. So I spent a lot of time talking about that, but that has a lot to do with community. Uranus is in the 11th house, so it's going to be there for 7, 8 years. Okay. So it's going to be ripping things up in terms of its community. It's going to be bringing shocks to the community. And I'm saying the community at large, like the decentralized space. So that's massive. Okay. And I mean, you have Saturn at the top over here. So Saturn represents a lot of constriction. So yes, perhaps we can see that there'll be some sort of constriction, but also an establishment, establishing the foundation. So all of these AI, all of what we just talked about now, yeah, all of these technology companies are establishing themselves, but further on there, Bitcoin's it's going to be solidified even more. So at the retail level, that's kind of what's being said. Okay, by 2028, and then leading into 2032 is the next one. Okay, that's going to be okay, more than 20% of the world knows it. They know how to use the wallet, and it's going to be easier, and transactions are already flying. But yes, some people are still using currency and what have you because of that. But a large majority of people are using those financial instruments at that time. That's what I mean about solidifying things in that sense. So
Very
you can see it by
insightful information. Very, very insightful information. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, to end that off, about this whole structure. Look at where Pluto is now. Remember, we were at 2025, it was down here, okay, at the moment. So it's coming up to its conjunction with the North Node, okay, and as we said, that's ripping things up. It's transforming the stuff that no longer serves us into what serves us, because we all know that energy is never destroyed, it's always recycled, right? That's the energy transformation, the phoenix rising from the ashes is Pluto. Like, go watch X-Men, the phoenix rising, like, it's Pluto. Like, they let me not go past that, but yeah, just in that essence, community, thanks very much. Again, there's a lot that's of detail that's in astrology that we could talk about. Imagine being able to telepathize it, which actually is a Uranus trait, an Aquarian trait. So you can see with Neuralink and these all adoption, I'm going to work my brain faster. Like, these are adoptions of things like good and evil. Okay, I love that.
So interesting that you say that because, to the community, if you guys did some research and you kind of looked at yourself on Google or AI or whatever, you'd actually see and we're just going to mention a few, like Google, Meta, and just a couple others and Amazon, that are really starting to use AI and to improve on their services to really delve more into the psychology of the human race and really like if you guys think that AI is heavily like controlling when you look at your phone and you had a thought and then all of a sudden what you thought is now on your phone right in front of you. I mean, that's quite a strange feeling to experience, and I'm sure that's happened to all of us. If it has, let me know down in the comments and give the video a thumbs up. But that's just, it's very interesting to see that. And AI is that transgression. Microsoft, Google, Meta, they're all spending billions, tens and tens and tens of billions on developing their AI programs to improve their services. So that's excluding companies like Tesla and a whole bunch other. And so Starglaze is referring to that technology within the space, and that Bitcoin will be the holder of that energy from a value perspective, because there's so much liquidity in those stocks of those companies, and those technologies would essentially be gobbled up by Bitcoin. So it continues, even though there's progression in AI, Bitcoin's value continues to increase. And so Etan is about, Starglaze is about to show us 2032 halving.
Well, the thanks. This it's you bring some very good points there, and it all represents like where we've come from and where we're going to. So I use, and astrologers may use this, but the last time Pluto entered Aquarius, there was the French Revolution. And what had happened there was that there was a domination from the top down structure, in the sense that too high taxes, paid too much taxes, too much greed up here, too much power from the top, and then the top crumbled. Okay, with the beheading of family members. And then, the bourgeoisie took into space the new era of freedom. Okay, so you see how big the word freedom is when we're talking about Aquarius. So Pluto being in there, it's going to be ripping it up for a long time. Now, let me then just pull into what I was saying about specific cycles and Neptune and Pluto. You could see that they're playing a very specific sextile angle here. And I know my research that at 2032, this conjunct okay, so the conjunction happened, and then it progressed. And this sextile has been happening between one another. It's just an angle, amount of degrees away from each other. But this harmonic angle happened in the early 60s. Okay, so what happened then? The revolution of hippiness and freedom fighting and all of this stuff. It actually, the cycle happened 1930s, around thereabout, and it started to build up into World War II, etc. And then it peaked down, and then it's come up again. So in a sense, what I'm saying is that from here, it's going to start to really calm down that angle and start to create new energy for so long. So there's yet another astrological significance that's happening for everybody in and around 2030 to 32, but a deep sense of transformation, excuse me. So, when we go, okay, mid 2032, my eye went straight here, as I'm sure a lot of people's did, and it's like, wow, okay, sun's this, they're in Cancer again, golden energy, but Venus and Mars are conjuncting each other almost on that day, on solstice day. So that's really, that's a blessing, actually, when those two meet up, especially on a solstice day. You can see on this side here that Saturn's catching up with Uranus, and it's about a conjunct, but it's technically conjuncting at the moment, like the energy's building, but there's a point of conjunction. So on either side of the sun, it's saying like, we've got this romance that we're actioning right now, but we've also got this unexpected structure that we're implementing to bring the financial benefit for the benefit of all, the community. So just the natural God, like being in Gemini, commerce, trade, communication, those things. Like we communicate, we're trading knowledge right now. We're not Crypto Bliss. That's what your page is about. You give people news and insights and updates on things. You're trading information for their time to hear. And this is what this is all about, Gemini being the communicator. So thank you to the community for listening in on, a lot of detail, a lot of different detail that you're used to on the Crypto Bliss page. And, I just want to wrap up by saying that there's always so much more that we could talk about, so much energy in it all. And how can you really tell? Like I said, you look back in order to see what you can kind of expect going forward with specific energies. So astrology works from a medical perspective, it works from a business perspective, it works from so many different things, like looking at nature and all the rest is quite a beautiful treat. So yeah, I hope you and your community have enjoyed this today. We definitely will be chatting about a lot more soon, hey?
Absolutely, Starglazer. We will definitely be doing some more collaborations in the future and looking forward to seeing what the community has to say and to share. If you're an astrologer or know certain astrology points in the community, share your comments down below for Starglazer so that he also knows what you'd like to know and share. And to the crypto community, let us know down in the comments below what you thought about the way that Bitcoin is progressing and unfolding and how its adoption is taking place. Starglazer, you have been truly amazing, and the community thanks you, and I thank you for being here with us on the channel. And of course, we look forward to having you back again. Your insights are very valuable to us in the community, and I have no doubt that it will be helping the community to understand how Bitcoin is not just here for the short term, that this is the longest term asset, this is the people's money asset, this is the best asset that we could possibly ever imagine on this planet at this point in our history of humanity. So, Starglazer, any last words for the community?
Well, definitely appreciate your knowledge and insight, especially over the years. It's assisted in guiding me in my confidence and my ability to be an early adopter. So, really, Crypto Bliss has a world full of information, and I'm sure the community is really getting a benefit of that from their personal gains, and they're about to see it unfold even more. So, we have this bull market to run on, and that's all I gotta say. Let's go out and get him. Let's go out and get wealthy. But more importantly, how are we going to contribute back to the community with that wealth? Because that's a big part about what we've been talking about, right? It's not selfish. It's all of us that are coming into the picture. So how are we going to do it together as a community? So thank you all. Thanks for your time, Crypto Bliss. What a blessing.
Thank you to Starglazer. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Cheers, community. Make sure to subscribe down below.
Nice one, brother.